Well, welcome to High School Sports on the Hartford Cable Network. I'm Don Morrison. Tonight we are at Aberdeen High School. It's the Aberdeen Eagles taking on the Havre de Grace Warriors in a battle that's always fun. Coach Rogers, the Havre de Grace, anytime Aberdeen and Havre de Grace get together, I don't care the sport, it's always a good rivalry.
Oh yes, the girls always look forward to the games, and it's always a big talk at the school.
Now your team, again, a small school with a lot of demands on the kids playing other sports. How do you build a program? Don't have a JV. You don't have let's say, a warm-up program like some schools have a rec program. So you have to take them where you find them in ninth grade and then build the program. How do you do that?
Well, we rely on the girls a lot. They get their friends to come play, and they just keep talking. We use the 8th grade fair when they're coming from middle school to the high school and promote the program. And this is the most girls we've had in a few years, so hopefully we'll just keep continuing going up the next couple of years.
But 10 of your 15 girls are either brand new or underclassmen, so again, it's hard building without that senior leadership.
It is. So it's definitely something I think next year we'll be working on, because we'll have more juniors and we'll definitely have more of that senior leadership to help the girls build up their skills.
Now, last year you win 3 games plus a playoff game. That had to be the best success you've had at Havre de Grace for a long, long time.
Yes, it was. It was our best season that we've had in the 7 years that I've been coaching, and we had a lot of fun last season, and the girls have been going off of that and really enjoying the season so far as well.
That's a very warm day today. Tell me about playing field hockey in this kind of heat on turf.
Well, you definitely feel the heat a lot more on the turf, so we'll definitely try to utilize all of our subs that we have. We'll actually have 4, which is really big for us because last year we didn't have any, so we'll just try to keep subbing them out, letting them rest, because they will get really warm throughout the game.
How about strategy today against Aberdeen? You played them once before. They beat you 6-1. What have you learned? What do you do today to try to make it a closer game and perhaps win? That would be great.
Yeah, we've been working a lot on stuff within the circle, so shooting on goal and things like that to help them have those stronger hits, to have stronger passes throughout the field.
Well, very good. Hang with me a second. I'll turn around and talk to your counterpart. Coach Andriano, you're here, Aberdeen, you're building a program. You told me about having a club program that you coach in the winter, building up, hopefully getting more girls to come out.
Yeah, so two seasons ago I was brought on by H2O, one of the club teams in the area, and I've now coached for them for 2 seasons. So having that under my belt and being able to bring some of my girls on board kind of helped us on the field and recruiting and just building up our skills as a unit. So that was been very fortunate for us.
Last year, what a season, 9-2. You win the Susquehanna League, and then all of a sudden this year they all leave. What's that all about?
I know it's hard when you have, a freshman that you build for 4 years and you finally get those skills and win the division, the best season I've had since my 10 years, and then they all graduate. So we're kind of, building up the next crew to do the same thing again. So
couldn't you just fail a couple? Does that work?
I tried.
Just kidding, but you did win against Havre de Grace. You're 3-4. You lost a tough one to Hartford Tech, losing 1-0 in double overtime. Tell me about that experience.
I mean, a very, very proud game for our girls. It was tough to come out as the loser, but we learned a lot. We played hard. It was a great matchup for us.
Now today it is warm, as we talked to Coach Rogers about. Do you have any special thing you can do? Keep the kids hydrated, give them rest? What can you do?
Just like Havre de Grace is going to do, we're going to sub our kids out, give them the rest that they need, the water that they need, so we can have fresh legs out at all times.
Now, a little unusual, you're starting today 1 down already, not a penalty, but you're starting 1 down. So how do you maintain going 10 against 11?
I think we're tough and we're strong, but discipline and is important to us. So if our girls show up to practice, they get to start, and we were missing from sickness and illness. So we're going to keep with our guns and stick to our policies, so we're ready.
Oh, really good. It should be a great game. We talked to Coach Rogers about this rivalry. Again, folks who don't live in the area don't know what it's like. Aberdeen and Havre de Grace, I don't care if it's tiddlywinks. Every time these 2 teams get together, it's going to be something special.
Yeah, we love playing Havre de Grace. We look forward to it every year. That one year that we lost to you guys, that was a hard loss for us, so we always come out strong, but we enjoy it.
Yeah, that happened about 2-3 years ago, Coach Rogers, when they defeated Aberdeen the first time in 10 years, and I'm sure you'd like to see that happen again today.
Yeah, the girls are ready, and they're looking for scoring more goals and hopefully getting a win in today.
Should be fun. Aberdeen versus Havre de Grace, always a good game. Stay tuned. It is, again, the Warriors versus the Eagles. We'll be right back with the play. Welcome into a very steamy Aberdeen High School. Carol Barker, so good to have you along. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah, it is a little warm today.
Should be an interesting game. Anytime Aberdeen and Havre de Grace get together, you know that from being in the county for so long. It's like Edgewood Joppatown or Edgewood Aberdeen. You know, you forget the records, you throw out the record book, and you say, hey, if we win today, in the case of Havre de Grace, you know, this makes our season, makes our year, makes our life, because we'll talk about it 50 years from now.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, we're just
Gonna
about
be
ready to
tough.
get underway.
Yep. We're just about ready to start the game off.
Havre de Grace in their maroon visiting uniforms. They have the ball going from right to left on your TV screen. Aberdeen in the white home tops with the blue bottoms, and we're underway. Aberdeen coming in with a 3-4 record. They lost a tough one, Carol, the last time they were out, losing to Hartford Tech 1-0 in double overtime.
Double overtime. That's tough. That's that's a game that nobody should lose.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
And everybody should win.
And of course, Aberdeen is coming off that 9-2-3 record last year, their best record in the history of the program, at least going back 20, 30 years, and winning the Susquehanna division. But as Coach Adriano said, and you know that being a high school coach, everybody graduated. This year we're faced with, young, inexperienced players.
The old familiar rebuild.
Havre de Grace has the ball in Aberdeen territory. Have some of the rules of the game in case you're interested. Scoring only happens inside the scoring circle. That's the red line you see there on your screen. If a shot is taken outside the scoring circle, then another player from the scoring team must touch the ball inside the scoring circle before the ball goes into the goal. And that's pretty much a safety thing, Carol, don't you think?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Very definitely. Not much has changed in field hockey over the years since I coached it, which was a while ago. There have been a few rule changes that seem to speed up the game, which I agree with. But basically, it's still one side of the stick. Can't touch the ball with anything except your stick. If your feet touch it, it could be called a foul, depending on who gets control. So,
Now, you can turn the stick the other way and hit it left-handed, I believe.
yes, but it still has to be the flat side.
Yep. Now, it's kind of funny. There are right-handed sticks. There are no left-handed hockey players, which is another weird thing. If you're lefty, you got to learn to play righty.
Yeah, and one of my best players was just that. She had to, learn to play from her right side. And she ended up being a very strong player because she had that already. Her left side was already strong.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Havre de Grace had trouble. If you look at a problem this year, it has been scoring. They've scored only 3 goals all year in 6 games. They lost to Perryville 3-2 in a very tough one. Also lost to Bow Manor last time out 2-0. And that was a game I think that they feel like they should have won. They just didn't play up to their potential. So when you're Havre de Grace, you're looking for positives, and that's what they're looking for here. Give you those starting lineups as they're playing. Havre de Grace has the DeLeva twins playing in the up position in the attack. Peyton DeLeva and Gwen DeLeva, numbers 2 and 5. Bailey Swart, number 8, and Sidra Wheeler, number 11, playing in the up positions. At midfield, Peyton Zimmerman, Tiffy Morgan, and Micah Jacobs. The defense players, Bridget Trey Montana, Elena Nye, and Zara Esakira. Esakai, I should say. Zara has moved into the goalie, the freshman. And Carol, she's never played goalie. She's a freshman. And she said, I asked her, I said, what possessed you to volunteer to play goalie? She said, I like it. I like all these pads, and I like being in control.
yeah, well, it takes a certain mentality. That's for certain sure. For any sport, for a goalie.
I asked her
Soccer,
that.
lacrosse.
I said, are you crazy or just aggressive? And she said, I prefer to say aggressive.
Yeah.
But I think she does admit to being a little bit, let's say, different. How's that?
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, who would volunteer to be a goalie never having played it? There you see her in the goal there with all those pads, and it's 85 degrees out, and she probably feels like it's 120 out there on that turf.
I'm sure.
Aberdeen now on the attack. Officials on the field calling a penalty. Emily Frank and Michelle Branch, the 2 officials. It is, I think, about 85 degrees, and that turf field, which is wonderful because the ball bounces nicely.
Right.
But the heat, it retains it, and it's probably 95 or 100 on the field.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
who would
they're-
have thunk it? October, what is this, October the 3rd?
October 3rd, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we're underway, 30-minute halves, 25:56 on the clock and running. If either team goes down by 5, then it becomes a running clock all the time.
Interception by number 11 for Havre Grace. That moving down very nicely.
Yeah, that's Sidra Wheeler, by the way, the number 11. In her 3rd year, she's one of the veterans on the team, Carol, a junior.
It's very difficult. Field hockey is, as you said, played right-handed, and the best teams are the teams that can use their right wing as a ball carrier. I always told my girls, and I watched the good ones like Alice Puckett and Phyllis Emmis, you know, their teams always, 80% of the time, 80% of the game, their right wing was very, very involved on the right side of their attack because it's more difficult for the defense. It's also easier for the offense. So, you know, it goes both ways. There it is. There's the right wing going down. Now that's exactly what they want to do.
That's Wheeler.
That left wing is having a difficult time because she just can't get in front. There you go.
Wheeler with the cross. The Aberdeen starters, Gabby Brock, Sophia Dow, and Kate Foy across the front line. Lily Proctor, Caitlin Hall, Layla Gagne in the middle field. Aviana Braden, Tiana Harris, and Mackenzie Hall.
Looks like Havre Grace has a corner foul in the circle by an Aberdeen ball player.
Goalie is Gwyneth Steele. Now they call it a corner, but it's not really a corner. They should call it something else, Carol. It's a short corner. They used to call it that. Now they have just that short corner.
Yeah, you used to have short and long.
Just when I start understanding the game, they change the rules.
Change it on you, yeah.
Why do they do that? Just confuse me.
Just to keep you honest.
Gwyneth Steele, 59 saves on the year.
That's pretty good. In what, 6 games?
Yeah, yeah, they're 7 games. They're 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
Again,
she's been busy.
They lost that tough game to Tech earlier in the week, 1-0 in double overtime. They also lost to Elkton by 1-0.
Nice interception there by the Aberdeen player.
So, Carol, 2 of their games have been 1-0 scores, and you reverse that, and now they're 5-2.
Right, exactly.
Unfortunately,
now she needs to get the ball to her right. They didn't do a good job there. She had the opportunity.
Now you can't be coaching up here, Carol Barker. Stop it. Yes, you can. Go right ahead.
Well,
Havre Grace with the ball.
I just know that's what our coach is saying down there. Get it to your right wing. Get it to your right wing.
These coaches have been at it 7 years, Coach Adriano, and Coach Rogers been at it 4 years. And each of them, again, the problem of any small school in terms of enrollment, and also a school that doesn't have a feeder program, doesn't have a rec program. That's getting 9th graders, Carol, who come to you not knowing the first thing about the game.
Yeah, that's very, very difficult. In a way, it's good because you can teach it from square one. But in another way, you're behind the 8 ball for some of the schools that do have really good feeder programs.
Havre Grace on the attack now. They're inside that red line, so they can score from there, if they can get the shot off, which they're not able to do. Again, you can't touch the ball with your feet. Only the stick, as Carol said.
Look out. That's
very close. That's the best opportunity we've seen.
That's a little nerve-wracking for the coach.
Carol, it's like the amoeba offense. Remember the little kids playing soccer. Wherever the ball is, you'll get 10 people running to the ball. I don't think the coaches necessarily want that. They like to have some spread area so somebody can operate.
Absolutely. It's just almost human nature. I mean, that's one of the toughest things you have to teach at the JV level, which I coach there and at varsity. Spread out, spread the offense, make the defense have to cover area. Let's see, she's going the easy way. To hit the ball to the right is easy. To your right, to your left, actually.
Then it comes down to the left side, and that's not where the ball wants to be. Is that right, Carol?
No, that's not where you want it. Not very efficient. Let's put it that way. There are some that have a really good left wing, and that's great.
But again, you can't hit it left-handed, so you have to turn your body and hit the ball right-handed.
You have to really be ahead of the ball. Your feet have to be sort of ahead of the ball.
Carol, go back to Edgewood High School, 1960, when you all won the first championship in the history of the school. You're a field hockey team under the Hall of Fame. 98-year-old Dolores Simmons still doing well up there.
Yeah, she's still cranking
Upper
it
PA, running a mile a day, and imbibing in her afternoon liqueur
Yes,
or something.
or something.
Yeah.
See, there's a nice hit down the right side. That wing needs to pick that ball up, make a little dodge, and then go.
Carol, you returned to Edgewood High School and coached and taught at your alma mater. How was that?
Oh, it was exciting. It was a little challenging because although I didn't go right there from school, I taught 2 years in elementary before going back to Edgewood, so it was a little bit of a break. I didn't know, all the kids that I would have known otherwise. That would have known me as Carol instead of Miss Barker.
Yeah, and especially you're, what, 2 or 3 years older. In your case, maybe 5 or 6 than your senior student.
Yes. And also some of the same teachers were there. It took me a long time to call individual teachers that I had personally myself by their first names. It took me a while to get used to that.
Speaking of Edgewood teachers, we just saw Bill Zimmerman, the Edgewood Middle School teacher who was the great wrestling coach, who was here, and we said, "What are you doing here?" And then I noticed there's a Zimmerman playing for one of the teams, his granddaughter.
Yeah, Havre Grace, I think.
Yeah, Peyton Zimmerman, who plays for Havre Grace, plays midfield, number 4.
Yeah.
Mentioned the Leyva twins for Havre Grace, Peyton and Gwen. Their dad, Robert DeLeyva, is the assistant principal here at Aberdeen. Now you talk about a tough situation.
He's between a rock and a hard place.
Do you root for your daughters? Do you root for your school? I was talking to one of the twins, and she said, he's rooting for me, but I think he's rooting for the other team. How do you do that? That has to be tough.
Well, it was like that for me after all the years at Edgewood, when I transferred to Bel Air High. First time back coaching Bel Air's JV field hockey team against Edgewood was different.
Yeah. You had to remember whose team you were actually on.
Yeah.
There wasn't a chance there for Havre Grace.
Yeah.
That was the young lady we were talking about a moment ago, Sidra Wheeler, number 11, taking it down the left side.
Now the move she just did, that would not have been allowed in my day. That's a change that has come about, where you can actually turn on your opponent as long as they have an equal opportunity for the ball. That was on an automatic obstruction call a few years ago.
And again, a lot of the rules,
Again,
the obstruction rule for safety purposes.
Yes, and now the changes I think are good because they have speeded up the game and created a lot less whistles.
By the way, Carol, we mentioned before the game that Aberdeen is playing a person down here for the first 20 minutes of the game, and that's a personal decision by the coach because she has a rule that if you don't practice the day before, you can't play, you can't start in the game. Well, it wasn't because of any problem at the players, just that so much sickness has been going around that she only had 10 players at practice last night, and so, she's starting with 10.
I give her a lot of credit. I had that same rule. Fortunately, I did not ever have to do that, but I had the same rule. You don't show up the day before a game, you don't play.
Here's a corner
now.
now.
Don't start.
Remember, this is the rookie goalie we were talking about.
That was a nice stroke on the ball.
Zaira Isaki, who is the, again, freshman goalie, never having played goalie. First time she's played that position. Another corner coming up. 17 minutes to go in this first half. No score, as you can see. Good passing by Aberdeen. And that is a goal.
I think that was the goal, yeah.
Let's see, the good thing about hockey players is they'll pick up the ball and run to midfield with it so we can tell who scored. If we can see that number. Can you see a number there, Carol?
No, I'm having a tough time following. Let's see what she looks.
Maybe the truck can tell us they're seeing. Here's the replay that you'll see on this goal. Maybe we can pick out, Carol, maybe we can watch this on the screen.
Number six, I think, brought the ball back.
Yeah, if that's number 6 for Aberdeen, that would be Kate Foy. Number 5 is the one, and that's Layla Gagne. G-A-G-N-A-N-E, I should say, pronounced Gagne. She had 4 goals on the year coming in. Now she's got 5, and so Aberdeen breaks on top by 1-0. 16 minutes and 30 seconds that goal scored. So Gagne unassisted with the goal. By the way, Layla, third-year player, wants to go to college to play field hockey, and also she plays club ball too. And again, Carol, we're talking about field hockey is the kind of game you don't learn overnight.
No, no. The more experience, the more days that she can give to it, the better she'll get.
I equate it to baseball. The skills are so refined that, again, you just have to keep playing at it to learn to actually play the game.
Absolutely.
Some sports, if you're a good athlete, yes, you have to learn and so forth, but you can be good almost right away. If you're aggressive, if you're fast, I'm thinking of soccer, I'm thinking of lacrosse and other sports that way where aggressiveness really makes a difference. Football, another example. If you're big and strong.
There's a nice plastic cross.
Yeah, it was. It looks like Wheeler again. Number 11 for Havre Grace.
I think we got another short corner coming up.
They ought to call it like a hash, because it's not a corner. Come on, Carol.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, work with me. This is Peyton DeLeva. Oh, which is older of the twins? Should have asked that question.
Now see that's a real big error. The coach would be very unhappy with that.
Got to control that ball in that circle, don't you?
You got to control it. You got to show that your attempt to control it anyway. And then it went through two Havre Grace girls, let it go right over their stick.
By the way, penalty corners are awarded to the offensive team trying to score when the defense commits a foul inside the scoring circle.
Right.
Typically, the foul that most occurs is the ball hitting the defender's feet. That occurs only 4 defensive players, and the goalie stay back. The offense can have as many players on the circle as they want. The offense will then run a play to try and score.
Yeah, it used to be a cry, sort of like Remember the Alamo. It was every corner a goal. That wasn't always true, but a lot of times it was.
Certainly the opportunity.
Yes.
14 minutes left in this first half. 1-0 is our score. Aberdeen's only goal coming just about a minute ago, 16:30. Gagne off a corner.
Out to your right wing. Come on. No, not up to midfield.
You have to excuse my partner. She's still a coach.
Yeah.
Here's Wheeler. Wheeler's got to turn.
She's got to get her whole feet. She's got to get her whole body around. That does not happen with the right wing.
Very, very hard to do.
Yep. Especially when you get in the circle, because there's so many bodies gathering in there.
It looked like Sophia Dow, number 12, making the defensive play there.
And a free hit coming out for Aberdeen. Is that no corner hit? Okay. Or hash hit.
You can call it corner. I'm just saying.
End line hit.
Whatever.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
Oh, good defensive play by Aberdeen, though.
Yeah,
they recovered.
good rush. Good rush.
Now, Havre Grace, again, its problem is they've scored 3 goals in 7 games, and it's hard to win if you don't score, more than 3 goals in 7 games.
Yeah, very difficult. Very difficult. You got to have a little bit of offense in any sport.
By the way, shout out to Andrew Reinen, who is the AI physical therapist on the site. And Carol, you and I go back to the days when you were your own trainer. Mm-hmm. And it's so good to have a medical expert on the field.
Absolutely. That's just tremendous for the girls and guys.
Talking about concussions, and he said he loves boxing. He's a big boxing fan. I said, well, how do you square being a physical therapist and a medic with boxing where they just beat the, tar out of each other? He didn't have a really good answer, I didn't think.
Say, what was his answer? Probably not. He probably hadn't had that question asked of him.
Said his dad used to take him to boxing matches all the time, and he just fell in love with the sport.
Ah. That's a sport I never really got involved with. Never appreciated.
Well, great athletes and great courage and so forth. Bill Zimmerman, the great wrestling coach, and Dick Slutsky were in the area where he made a name for himself. Wrestling was always that way with me. As much as I appreciated the effort that went into it, I never, as a basketball person, I never really got into what that was all about.
Midfielder.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were commentating on a hockey game. I was talking wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, get on task.
Get on task here.
Okay, see what Aberdeen's going to do with that. That was a nice move. Now she needs to get rid of the ball right away. Yep.
I can help you with the she. I think Aberdeen is now at full strength. I believe they put their 11th player on the field.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That was Sheehan Taylor, number 13.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
My partner's counting in case you're wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have 20. They have their 11 on. That's a nice play.
Ball out of play.
Yeah, that was sort of like the second line offensive player. She was probably shielded a good bit, so she had a shot at it if they could have gotten their stick on it.
And I emphasize to you again, Ricky goalie, Zahra Esaki, Zehraessakhi, the spelling of her name, freshman, obviously her first year. Micah Jacobs also plays some of the goal, as does Sidra Wheeler. They've escaped that net today on this very hot day at Aberdeen. Carol, it's good to be just at a game because our last 2 games have been postponed in terms of our being able to tape them. So finally good to have some good weather.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful day today, that's for sure.
Do they call it Indian summer now that...
That's what we called it when I was growing up.
Actually, I think it's after the first frost, and we haven't had a frost yet, but let's call it Indian summer.
Sure.
Yeah. Aberdeen with the ball. Whistle blows. I'm not sure what that was all about, but
yeah,
they bring a halt to the play.
whoa.
That was Gabby Brock, actually, no, it's number 9, and I'm looking for a 9. That's Josiah Fulp. Jessia. Would that be Josiah or?
Yeah.
I'm
There's a
thinking
few
Josiah.
interesting names here.
She's a senior, is Josiah. Again, that Aberdeen team last year winning 9 games, losing just 2, winning the Susquehanna Division title.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment for Aberdeen, I think.
And then they lose, all their seniors, and so 10 of the 15 players are either brand new to the team or underclassmen this year.
Yeah. Ooh, that's probably, yeah. You can't have a ball loft like that. It's just too dangerous.
Now you can loft it if it's a slow loft. In other words, if you don't hit it, if you just actually loft it with a curved end of your stick.
Right. It's called a scoop. It used to be called a scoop.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still use that term or not, to be honest. But
sounds like a good term to me.
Yeah. But if you whack at it and it goes up, it's going to be called against you. It'll be called dangerous play. I'm not sure what she saw there.
We see our good friend Matt Button on the field. Matt's the ace photographer with the Eaches, and always good to see him. He does such great work. I told Matt if I mentioned his name on air that I expected some sort of a payment.
There you go. Well, sure. Why not?
No, just kidding.
Yeah, that got off number 2's feet. Ooh, that was a good try.
Was a good try.
That's what you got to do. When that ball, I always try to get my kids, never let the ball go past you without trying to get your stick on it. You don't know how much, you may not touch it at all, but if you deflect it just a little bit, it throws that goalie off. She's moving one way and you deflected another.
Again, Esaki, the freshman goalie for Havre Grace, has allowed 1 goal here in this first half. 6 minutes, 52 seconds and counting left in the first half. Now that was the left-handed slap. As you saw, Carol, she turned her
That was well done, too.
her stick the other way.
And that was a nice try at the goal, too. They're putting some pressure on. Usually when it stays down in front of your goal cage like this, like it has for the last, 5 minutes here, pretty much, that's usually a equation for disaster.
And Carol, we haven't talked about the Heat too much, and at some point they've got small squads, both teams, and very few substitutes. That has to affect you.
I would think. Yeah, they haven't really played anything like this or practiced probably in anything like this all season, most likely. All of September was, rain and chilly and cool. And
Yeah. It was 85 degrees, according to my car thermometer when we got here. That was about a couple of hours ago. Sub coming for Havre de Grace.
nice hit.
Sidra Wheeler coming in. And a single goal scored at 16:30 by Gagne for Aberdeen.
I was going to say the Havre de Grace girl was hacking at the stick. You got to try to hit the ball. If you crack sticks, you're probably going to get called for that.
Oh, that's a nice play by Havre de Grace to keep it out of there.
Yeah.
If you were Coach Rogers before the game, if I told you it was going to be 1-0, you were trailing with almost the entire first half gone, you probably wouldn't be totally upset, Carol.
No, not at all.
Knowing that your team doesn't score a lot.
Yeah, and she's got so many young players.
Again, it's hard if you're not familiar with Aberdeen, Havre de Grace, this great rivalry. You say that, it is a great rivalry, but it is. They live, the schools are 3 miles apart?
Yeah. A lot of kids go to the same rec areas. They go to the same churches. So, that was a nice stop by the Aberdeen girl. Can't see numbers real well.
Yeah, we're about 50 yards away. We're trying to pick up the numbers. Looks like number 17 for Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That was Aviana Braden. Aviana, one of the seniors on this team, a 4-year player. Yeah, neither of these teams have a JV.
Yeah, that's so difficult. It is so difficult to build a program.
Ball in front of the Aberdeen net, but unable to get a clear shot, Havre de Grace. Carol, off the screen we're watching on the field, we mentioned the physical therapist who's here, actually the medic, Andrew Reinen, working with one of the Aberdeen players. Number 19, Gabby Brock. Looks like Gabby
I didn't see her get hurt. But
looks like she has a finger injury of some kind.
Okay.
Back to the game action. Havre de Grace looking to try to knot this game down 1-0.
At corner.
Corner coming up for Havre de Grace.
Right.
Carol, they've had some opportunities. They just haven't been able to get a clear shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Aberdeen, I think, has probably had the ball a little bit more on their offensive end than Havre de Grace, but Havre de Grace certainly has had some shots.
Peyton
This is
DeLeva.
what, maybe the 4th or 5th corner.
That was Peyton DeLeva. Havre de Grace, the smallest school in the county in terms of enrollment. And so the kids, when you're fielding a volleyball program, a cross-country program, a girls' soccer program, and of course they have a wonderful music program at Havre de Grace. So,
Oh, yes.
a lot of the kids are in that music program.
Yes.
I think if you said per capita, Havre de Grace probably has more participation in extracurriculars than any school in the county.
I think you're probably right.
I say that with no knowledge at all, other than, you think
Just
about.
Eyeballing it.
Well, their band has 125 players or frontline people. 125. Rick Hoff, the great music teacher there at Havre de Grace.
Oh, he's wonderful. He really is. He's just so good with the kids, and he can't do enough for them. Gives them extra opportunities to do special things. He's a terrific.
He is that. had a
Terrific
chance
addition
to
to that faculty.
talk to him at the Susquehanna run that they had a couple weeks ago, the Alcesky first annual Susquehanna River run. He was running.
Ah,
Yeah,
well, he's got a runner's physique, that's
he does.
for sure.
Yeah. I always say I don't mind running if I'm running somewhere or running from someone, but ending up in the same spot where you started, to me, makes a whole lot of, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, Carol.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I never was a runner.
I think that's what they build horses for, or cars, so you don't have to run. But then again, that's just me. I'm probably wrong.
That was on the feet. Aberdeen gets a free hit.
Coach Rebecca Rogers, the coach for Havre de Grace. By the way, her husband is her assistant coach, Carol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. John Rogers. And I said, how's that work out? You're his boss on the field, right? I said, does that equate at home? It's, again, one of the questions that I didn't expect to get an answer from and didn't. Good play by Havre de Grace to take it away.
Yeah.
That
Nice
horn
play.
means that is the end of the first half. Apologize, I didn't give you a countdown on the time. So we have now played one half of field hockey here at Aberdeen. The score, as you see, 1-0 as Aberdeen got the only goal of the game. That came about midway of the period, about 16 minutes and 30 seconds to be exact. The goal scored by Aberdeen's Layla Gagne off a corner. And that's where you are, 1-0 at halftime, as we'll take a break and come back with the second half action. Don't you go away. It's Aberdeen hosting Havre de Grace. We'll be right back. Well, just like we promised, we are back with you here at Aberdeen High School. It's the Aberdeen Eagles hosting the Havre de Grace Warriors. Aberdeen leading by 1-0, looking to try to even their record at 4-4. Havre de Grace coming in at 0-6. Would love nothing better than get that first win, Carol. And what a better team to get it against than your arch rival.
Right. Oh, yeah. You always love those arch rival games. I know when I was at Bel Air, it was always a big event when we beat Falston. Didn't do it often, but we did do it.
Yeah. Well, they switch around now, as they are wont to do. Havre de Grace will be going from left to right, Aberdeen from right to left. Aberdeen in the white jerseys. Stick goes flying. Havre de Grace in the maroon visiting uniforms.
Kate Foy for Aberdeen. Yep.
Down she goes, and she says, come on. What are you doing to me? Kate Foy, a junior. Third year in the program. She's got 2 goals and an assist so far this year.
Nice hit.
Yeah, it was.
Nice hit. Nice hit.
Oh, and there's the kick. I was kidding with the goalie before the game. Back in the day, and Carol confirmed this for me, did they have steel-toed shoes when you were playing?
Yeah, they were just coming in. Yeah, they did.
She said, really, they have padded shoes now. I
Yeah.
mean, that can do no damage. Come on, the goalie was to be feared. She came out kicking. You get out of the way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You didn't play goalie, did you?
No, sir, I did not.
I
My
guess
good friend Tammy Dean did for us.
you have to be a little bit different to play goalie.
Yeah, just
I don't
very
mean-
aggressive.
That's it. I don't mean negatively. You just have to have that attitude.
Now you heard the clicking of the sticks. That's what's going to get the call going against Havre de Grace. The Aberdeen girls going to get a free play. You can't crack those sticks. If you do, that's considered, it's called stick obstruction. At least it was in my day. I'm sure it still is.
This is Kate Foy, number 6, standing with the ball at the 20-yard line. Didn't mention the field is 120 yards long because the goals are at the back
Nice play
line.
by the Havre de Grace gal. Nice interception. Kate tried to get it by her, but she did not. Now she's got to come to the right. Come on.
No, she goes right down the middle and loses
Yeah,
the ball.
see, that's what that's where everybody is, in the middle. That's why you want to be out on the Y. You want to stretch that defense.
That's what you learn, but you learn that by playing, and many of these kids are playing field hockey for the first time in their lives.
Yep. Yep.
The goalie, for instance, who has never
I used to, every
Play
drill I
goalie.
ran, as a coach, every stick and ball drill that I ran had to have a tie over to the game. Otherwise, why do it?
Ah, you coaches are like that.
Yeah, I know.
No fun. You just want to, come on, let's practice for real. It's,
Oh, we had some fun times.
of course you did. I tell you what, you know what is fun? Winning.
Yeah.
Winning's a lot of fun.
Winning's a lot of fun.
Losing, not so much.
Right.
Trust me, I've had my share of the losing part.
Yes, I think both of us have.
Someone said that losing is tougher than winning is fun. Do you believe that?
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable statement. Yeah,
I think winning you expect to win because that's what you practice for. Losing, you don't expect to lose, and you do, and
Right.
it's just like all your efforts for naught. I think I'll write that in a book somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah. Losing is tougher than winning is fun.
That sounds like a good book title.
Yeah. I've got a title now, I just need a first chapter.
Nice play by Havre Grace.
Havre
to get the
Grace
ball in
looking,
front of the
yeah.
goal.
Got a chance here. A goal for Havre Grace, and they have now tied the game at 26:09.
Now somebody's got to.
Let's see if we can see who has the ball.
Yes.
Wow. Just like that, we are all even.
Let's see who has the ball.
I don't either.
Who's got it?
Truck, did you?
Oh,
Here
there-
comes a replay. We still have a glare, and we really can't see.
It's really difficult. Must be the girl that jumped over there.
Number 5, we're told, for Havre Grace. Good job, Truck. And that is Gwen DeLeva. Gwen who has
She's a sophomore.
yeah, and she's the twin, of course, of Peyton, who has 2 goals. That's Gwen's first goal of the year. She does have an assist, so just like that, we are tied at 1.
Sophia Dow took that free hit, number 12 for Aberdeen.
So now, all of a sudden, I mean, what a charge of adrenaline you get that you have scored a goal. You're even with Aberdeen.
Jeanne Taylor, number 13, trying to get into the scoring area for the Eagles.
Do you think, what, Carol, will it give Aberdeen an incentive now to you know, get up
I would
at
think
this team?
so. I
Or
would
does
think so.
Havre Grace have more confidence now?
It goes both. I'm sure it goes both ways. It depends on how your kids react. You know, are your kids, you know, competitors? Then that would make me, if I were the Havre Grace team, say, okay, I'm going to get that one back.
Or the Aberdeen team? Since
Yeah.
Havre Grace has scored.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
right.
okay. Hey, Carol, I'm here
Hey,
for you.
thank you.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, when you turn over 70, you know, sometimes it just goes.
Let's not talk about age. Since I am in that same neighborhood as you, I just am a little
You're
bit,
a baby.
I'm a little bit up the road from you, but not far.
All right, here we go. Havre Grace moving down. See, she goes right up the middle. The coach has got to talk to her about that. You've got to do a better job of getting that ball out wide, getting
Sure,
it
you'll-
away,
After
away
the game,
from the feet.
after the match, I'm sure that you're going to go down there and talk to her about it. I know what you are. I know you're a
No.
coach. You'll never stop.
If she asked me, yes, but no, I would not do it otherwise.
Very good point. By the way, as we tape this on a Wednesday, Friday is the 8th annual Aberdeen, I'll try it again, the 8th annual Edgewood High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yes, looking forward to it.
The reason I got a little confused was that Havre Grace has their induction ceremony October the 12th, the
Oh,
following Friday, at their homecoming game.
ah. It's a really nice situation that the alumni associations have gotten involved in.
Our good friend Frank Mazzanotti and partner will be one of the 7 to be inducted at Edgewood, and he's just a little bit thrilled.
I bet he is. I talked with Frank. He's a great guy.
He's amazing, as are his players. I understand 170 of his former lacrosse players are going to show up to, let's say, give him the just desserts that he has.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
That's wonderful.
Frank, who lives now in South Carolina, of all places, coming back up for the induction.
Oh, really? I didn't know he'd moved down there.
Oh, yeah.
Is he okay from everything okay from the Hurricane Florence?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's at Clemson. He's teaching at Clemson.
What part of the state is that? Do you know?
It's in the southern part.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and not near the coast. So
Right.
he and Dabo Sweeney, who's the coach at Clemson, have become great friends now.
Ah.
He sent me a picture of them, sort of doing a man hug,
Ah.
if you will.
Neat.
We are 22 minutes and change left in this contest, 1-1. If, you're probably going to ask me the question, if it's tied at the end of the game. They go to overtime, 10 minutes sudden death,
Yeah. But it's a reduced player.
using only 6 players and a goalie.
Right.
Then if it's still tied, nobody scored, after 10-minute period will occur, if another 10-minute period will occur. And then if it's still tied, Carol, they go to a shootout.
Right.
Each team
And then
elects 5 players.
the second overtime, you can't use the same players that you used in the first overtime, except the goalie.
Very good point. Now, Carol, you probably know the softball rule now that if it's tied after going to extra innings, they put a runner on second base
Yeah.
to start the the 8th inning, where they play 7 innings.
Yeah. Let's play 7. That's a good idea.
I think it's a great rule because in fast pitch softball, your pitchers are so dominant that
Yeah.
you could go on for,
Yeah,
like the Cubbies in Colorado did last
Yeah.
night, with 13 innings.
Yeah. 13 innings. Wow. What a ball game. Exciting.
For my money, best time of the year for sports because you have baseball coming to its postseason and football getting into the real part and basketball beginning, so you've got the overlap. And of course there's hockey, which I've never been tremendously knowledgeable about.
Yeah. Because we didn't have a team here.
We didn't.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we just didn't have a team here, so therefore, it never.
Had the Clippers in the American Hockey League, but of course that's not.
There you go. Nice. There you
Yeah,
go.
it is.
Now,
Havre de Grace moving the ball.
yeah, she's doing a
Down
good
that
job.
side.
Keep it off her feet. Keep it
She
off
being
her feet.
Bailey Swartz. Bailey, a sophomore. You can say that about just about all these Havre de Grace
Yeah.
players. Both the
Now there's your scoop. There's the time when it's allowed to get up above the waist.
the Leva twins sophomores. Swart, a sophomore. Tiffy Morgan, number 6, a sophomore.
There's your reverse stick drive. But it's such a weak play. That reverse stick is such a weak play.
A weak play, as in
W-E-A-K,
Huh,
yeah.
How come?
Well, it's just against all your body mechanics. That's why it's so much better to get it
Here's a
over.
chance. Oh, that's almost a whiff there. It looked like they had a chance for a goal, Carol.
Yeah.
Pardon me for interrupting, but
That's
I
okay.
thought we were going to have. Trying to catch the number of that young lady who, I know she's feeling a little, you don't get those opportunities very often.
No. That time she let the ball get a little bit far out of her control. She's still fighting for it.
Havre de Grace reversing the field now. Obstruction going to be called? Yeah, it looked like the
Yeah.
Aberdeen player was getting between her
Yeah.
opponent and the ball.
She was sort of standing on the ball. That happens. That little ball sometimes does not want to go where you want it to go.
Another goal for Havre de Grace, and the Warriors have taken the lead at 2-1. 19:21 left. Havre de Grace in the lead. Wow. They've scored
And
3
I don't-
goals all year long. Let's see if we can see the number.
Havre de Grace-
Somebody's jumping up and down. Is that number 2? Is that Peyton DeLeva?
Yeah, I think so. Looks
Here
like
comes the replay.
timeout.
Watch and see if it's number 2. Number 2 is the scorer. That's Peyton DeLeva. She's got her 3rd goal of the year.
Yeah, they're congratulating her on the sideline.
So Gwen DeLeva scored the 1st goal, and now Peyton DeLeva scores the 2nd goal. So at 19:21, the Havre de Grace Warriors are leading the Aberdeen Eagles. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago that Havre de Grace defeated Aberdeen. First time they defeated Aberdeen in like a decade. Could this be the 2nd time?
Well, certainly looking that way right now.
Wow. Now
She's
think
got-
about this. We talked about Robert DeLeva being the assistant principal at Aberdeen. He's here at the game somewhere, hiding, I'm sure. His 2 daughters, his twin daughters, have each scored a goal, and now has his team, Aberdeen, down by a goal.
Yeah.
You talk about, divided emotions.
Yeah. Divided loyalties.
Whew.
I think if it came down to it, it'd probably be I have to root for my kids.
Blood is thicker than the school you work for, is what
That's
you're
right.
saying.
That's
I got
right.
it. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But think of the, think of the, I'm thinking of the right word here. Think of the guff he'll take tomorrow if Havre de Grace does win, and his two daughters are the reason that Havre de Grace won when he tries to walk the halls of Aberdeen. I
He
wonder
might-
if a sick day is in order.
He might find a sick day in order. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I'll be in, but I'll be in after the kids are gone.
I'll be in after this
I'll
thing
work late.
dies
I'll
down.
work late tomorrow. Give me a chaperone duty late.
Of course, now we are assuming it's 19:21 left in the contest, and so there's a lot of time left. Aberdeen, has every chance to come back. However, right
The
now,
Havre Grace coach has got to train her kids to pick up the ball. It's very difficult to find out who scored. Both times they just can't.
yeah, come on, commentators are here. We need help.
Help us old eyes. Oh, these old eyes pick you up.
Well, thank good for the folks in the truck as they do
Yeah, they're
a
pretty
great
sharp.
job as always, keeping us straight.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Now with us two together, it's like, come
Yeah.
on. Well, hope
Okay,
you're
how much
enjoying
time
this.
we have left?
19:21.
Okay, yeah. That was a good.
Yeah.
What kind of a year was that? Very
1921. Well, Woodrow Wilson was leaving office, and
World War
Warren
I
Harding
over.
was coming in.
Oh,
We're history teachers here. You'll have to excuse us. 1921. Return to normalcy. Enough of that. Back to the
Yeah.
game.
nice play.
Well,
by-
good takeaway by
good
Havre de
takeaway.
Grace. Really been impressed with the play of Havre de Grace today. They have really brought it.
Yeah, they have not stayed back. They've been very aggressive, controlling it, doing a good job of moving the ball down the field. Nice hit across. That was off the Aberdeen girl's foot. You'll see the refrigerators, the referees, when their hand goes up, their arm goes up. It's pretty much like, I guess, like soccer. I don't know. I'm not know much about it, but they've seen the foul, but it depends on who gets the advantage off the foul.
To let the play continue.
And they let it continue again.
Havre de Grace has a chance.
Pace of the game, and not to have so many whistles. They saw the foul. They know who committed it, and if her teammate gets an advantage, they'll blow the whistle.
Carol, that was that left-handed play by
Yeah.
Aberdeen. Get it out of there. I mean, 1 goal advantage is great, but a 2-goal advantage, if Havre de Grace could score again here.
That's pretty tough. It's just like soccer. Goals are few and far between.
They talk about Mr. Mo or Mrs. Mo, meaning momentum,
Yeah,
and it looks like that Havre de Grace now has
that's a nice hit.
a nice stop by Havre de Grace.
Yeah, good follow. Needs her teammate to get in there.
Elena
Yeah, there
Nye,
you go.
number 10, making the play for Havre de Grace. That's Bailey Swart, number 8, for Havre de Grace.
Aberdeen trying to get the ball over to the right side, which is a smart thing to do. The Havre Grace is playing them tough.
Now think about it. Remember that in the earlier game, these two teams met about a month ago. Aberdeen won 6-1.
Wow.
They've played a number of common opponents, and Aberdeen has won, and Havre de Grace has lost. So if you were a betting person, which of course we're not,
Nope.
you would say that Aberdeen had every chance of coming up with their 4th win to tie their record at 4-4. Havre de Grace 0-6 coming in.
Right now, Havre Grace is taking it to them.
Yeah. Here comes Aberdeen now looking for the tying goal. It's going to be a call against
Against
Aberdeen.
Against Havre Grace, I think.
It
No,
looks like
yes.
they're giving the ball to Havre de Grace.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It
Okay.
looked like, I agree with you, it looked like the Warrior had committed the obstruction, but hey, what do we know?
Yeah. She's a lot closer. The ref's a lot closer than we
And
are.
she's been doing it a while longer.
Yeah.
Emily Frank, I should say, sorry Emily, and Michelle Branch, the referees today. I asked them for their home phone numbers so if they made a bad call, I could announce it on the air. Carol, do you believe that neither one would give it to me?
Neither one. Shame on them.
I can't believe it.
I know. That's awful.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Nice interception there. Nice pass forward.
Aberdeen trying to just overcome what's happened here. You can just feel it in the air, how the wind is sort of going out of the sails of Aberdeen at the moment.
Havre Grace moving into the attacking area again. Nice play, nice play. Nice dodge.
Coming up on the halfway mark of the second half, the 15-minute mark.
I apologize to your parents, but it's so hard to see their numbers, and
Yeah.
the sun is right in our eyes. So I'm sorry that.
And we're old.
And we're old.
Yeah.
I need to bring my binoculars this time.
I don't think it'll help. The trouble with that, you get a sheen on this turf field, and it makes it very difficult to actually see what you're looking at.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Oh,
Free hit coming in from the outside for Aberdeen. See what they can do with the ball. They're in their offensive end, getting close anyway.
ball goes out of play.
Yeah.
Looks like Havre Grace will have it. Carol, at what point do you try to take the air out of the ball figuratively in terms of, delaying? And if you're Havre Grace, I'm talking about timeout on the field. You can answer that for me while they're taking the timeout.
Yeah, well, if it gets down within the last couple minutes and you know that, you feel comfortable that you can hold it, I always told my kids to play long ball. In other words, hit the ball as far as you can, straight up the field, and let them run after it. Because then they have to go get it, and then they have to bring it another 120 yards up the field. And hopefully in that 120 yards, you can make a couple of stops.
We made that mention earlier. It is a 120-yard field because the goals are on the in line of the end zones, the football end zone. So it's
Right.
not 100 yards, but it's 110 plus another 10, so it's 120 yards. That's a long field.
Like a long field, yeah. Girls have to be in good shape.
Yeah. And the other thing about hockey that always, amazed me, you have to play bent over all the time. So you can't actually look straight ahead. And I guess it must be a technique to be able to see while you're bent over watching the ball.
Yeah, yeah. The good old peripheral vision helps a lot.
Yeah.
And the kids have to learn to depend on that and use it.
Well, Aberdeen led 1-0 at the half. Havre Grace has come back and scored 2 goals here in the second half. Gagne got the goal for Aberdeen at 16:30. DeLeva, first of all, it was Gwen DeLeva, scored at 26:09, and then her twin sister, Peyton DeLeva, scored at 19:21. So that's where we are. 2-1 the score. Havre Grace leading, and it's 14-14 left in this contest. Wow. I say that because we always like to have competitive games, Carolyn. Unfortunately, this year, the games that we've had in our 25th season, have I mentioned that?
Wow.
25 years on the air, have been non-competitive games. And we've had...
Yeah, it's always nice to have a game that, goes down to the end.
And last week, we had 2 games scheduled, and both got rained out. And so we were just praying for good weather and a good competitive contest, and boy, that's what we've gotten.
Yeah.
Well, here we go now. Let's see what the timeout happens.
14-14 left.
If there's any change in strategy. If you were Aberdeen, Coach Adriano, what would you do? Be more aggressive?
Oh yeah, be more aggressive and continue to stress getting the ball down the right side. Trying to break that, get a break in the defense. Keep the pressure on them.
Coach Fike, the assistant coach for Aberdeen. Marching on that sideline. Well, that's a tough feeling, Carol, as a coach. Nothing you can do.
Kids gotta use what you've taught them and execute.
I mean, if you're playing, you can go out there and, hit someone or do something. But as a coach, you just have to stand there and bite your nails.
I was never a nail biter. I was always an encourager on the field.
Some would call that a screamer. No, 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 no. Just kidding.
Well, let's put it this way. My kids knew my voice.
You were vociferous. Yes. But you were always encouraging. You were never cruel.
No.
No.
Oh no. I don't. That's not me. I tried not to be anyway.
Well,
I'm
of
sure
course
it's probably
not.
a couple of kids probably thought I was, but
Brenda Weber thought you were.
yeah.
The owner and proprietor of Mamie's Cafe with Love. Is that the name
Yes,
of it?
yeah.
Who,
Right up the street here in Aberdeen.
who is a wonderful lady who runs a tight ship and does a great job there at the restaurant. But she always reminds Miss Barker that when she walks in, you failed me in school. You failed me. See, I would not eat there, Carol. I would be afraid the food might have a little,
A little extra ingredient.
yeah, a little extra ingredient. I would be careful if I were
Yeah.
you.
She just
There's
forget-
Aberdeen.
Oh, nice try. Oh,
Now remember,
Wow.
we remind you, freshman goalie Zara Isaki.
that was close. That was close. Aberdeen had a good shot there.
And here comes the corner coming up. Aberdeen now with a chance to draw even at 2. Led 1-0 at the half.
Gotta stop it. Okay, get rid of it now. There you go.
That was good play by Havre Grace.
Yep. Corner again. Yeah, got off the feet.
Looks like that was Alex Tamarchio, number 18, the fourth-year senior, the only senior on the team for Havre Grace who made that defensive play. Boy, for Havre Grace, you look at that clock and you say, come on, run, clock, move.
Yeah.
11 minutes and 49 seconds left in this contest, at least in the regulation part. Another corner, this coming from the other side. See what the call is.
Yeah.
It's going to be against
Again,
Havre
off,
Grace
the, off,
again.
the, off the leg, I think.
No, it looks like Havre Grace is retreating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be again.
Another Aberdeen corner.
There are only 4 defensive players and the goalie can be in that circle.
Right.
That's why, as Carol was describing, every corner looks like a scoring opportunity.
Yes. Oh,
There's a goal.
yeah.
Yes, that's the equalizer. What a nice play. It looks like number, is that
Number 6, isn't it?
6
Yeah.
for Aberdeen? Number 6 is Kate Foy. Kate Foy, who has 2 goals and an assist now. She has 3 goals, and we're tied.
Yeah, she's a junior.
Here comes your replay, and you'll watch. This is perfectly executed.
Beautiful
Good
shot.
stop, and just inside that red line. So
Okay.
we are tied now
Anybody's
with
ball game now.
11 minutes left in the contest. And I should warn the truck. You know what this means, Carol. We're looking at overtime.
Yes. Yes.
If the score remains tied, we could have as many as 2 10-minute overtimes. And then we wouldn't be finished. We'd have a shootout. You can just see Mark and the guys in the truck are
Yeah, I know they're.
popping the corks on their champagne and celebrating.
Oh boy, can't wait.
They're so dedicated. Now let's see what happens with the momentum. Does Aberdeen recapture it? Oh, nice save coming out and making the save.
Yeah.
That was Gwyneth Steele.
Okay.
She was not shy at all. She came out and kicked the ball out of play. Havre Grace retains possession, though. Ball right out in front.
Yep, right in front of the goal. Where you want it when you're down there. Can't tell. Looks like a corner for Havre Grace.
Yep. The Warriors will. That's Peyton DeLeva again, the sophomore. Scored the second goal for Havre Grace.
Oh, that was a miss hit
Yep.
by the Havre Grace girl. She'd like to have that one back.
Yeah. So like my golf shots, I say, could I have a mulligan? And Paul Metzger is not very free with those second shots. He says, play it where it lies. Landed.
Where it landed. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
there you go.
I didn't teach English.
Here we go. Aberdeen now looking to try to take the lead. They've tied it. Kelly, it's a nice little breeze out here today.
Yeah,
So we
it
talked
is.
about the temperature 85, but the breeze makes it kind of
Comfortable.
pleasant.
Yeah, it's very comfortable, really.
Of course, we are in a booth with the wind blowing through the windows, so
Yep.
here's another chance.
Yep.
A good stop by Havre Grace.
That's probably,
Looked like it was Tamarkio again.
yeah, Tamarkio. She's the backfield defender. She's a senior.
Yeah, fourth year playing. You know, you're surrounded by all these young people.
Well, you look to her, your coach, you know, when you're coaching, you look to her and girls like her for their leadership.
And Carol, you
Yeah.
remember being a senior. This is your last year, your last chance to, to do something. And even though your team is mostly freshmen and sophomores, this is it for you.
Right.
And I think you can comment, both as a coach and a player, 4 years go so quickly. You're a freshman, and then all of a sudden you're a senior, and you say, how did that happen?
Yeah. Goes by very quickly.
All you can hope, and what I tell my players was, when you look back, like I am, from the vantage of 50 years or more, just remember that you did your best. You put everything into it. You didn't leave anything on the field.
Right, exactly.
Then you know, win, lose, or draw, you can look back with pride. Just got a text from my catcher in high school, Alan Ingalls, who's just landed at Dulles International Airport. He's coming in for the Hall of Fame. I should mention he is, like you, Carol Barker, a charter member of the Edgewood High School Hall of Fame. It'd be so good to see him.
Yeah, it'd be good to see Al. He's a couple years younger than I am, but we all went through Edgewood basically about the same time.
Mhm.
Starting the school off, first 5 or 6 classes, we were pretty close.
And I
Close-knit
mentioned
group.
that your hockey team was the first team at Edgewood to win a title. The school started in 1954. Our baseball team was the first one to win a boys championship
All right.
after 8 years. So we're fairly proud of that.
Was that Mr. Marsden's team?
It was, yeah. Charles P. Marsden was the coach. Another Charter Hall of Fame member.
Yeah, good guy, good man.
Wonderful. He'll be at the Hall of Fame celebration in a couple of days.
It was really neat. I taught with Mr. Marsden. I was a student when he was a faculty member. Then I went there as a faculty member myself. And then when I transferred to Bel Air, I taught a couple of his boys.
And now his youngest, Jeff Morrison, is the one of the guidance counselors
Right.
at Edgewood. It's
Yeah,
kind of ironic when you think that, Chuck was a guidance counselor there, and now their youngest son, he
Yeah.
and Jeanette. Well, here's Havre Grace now with a chance.
Got a chance. Got
Sidra Wheeler.
about 5:30 left in the game. Now's the time to strike if they're going to do anything.
Aberdeen coming off that 1-0 double overtime loss to Hartford Tech earlier in the week. Meantime, losing 2-0 to Bow Manor was Havre Grace in their last game, so in a game they felt they should have won. Official speaking to one of the Aberdeen players. He was checking on an injury possibly, Layla Gagne. That's Layla with the ball. Tries to keep it in bounds, but loses it. Havre Grace takes it away. Bailey Swart with the ball. Here's Bailey.
Layla's not really walking too well. She looks like she's hurting a little bit.
Yeah. Don't know whether it's it looks like her hand now. She's flexing that hand.
Mm-hmm. Free hit on the sideline for Aberdeen, bringing it up.
And out of play it goes. Off the stick of the aforementioned Layla Gagne. subs coming in for Havre Grace. They only have 3 people on the bench, so when you say subs,
Yeah.
they don't have a whole lot. We're watching West Nottingham play. They had 13 players, and their punt team, the punter came on the field. Everybody else stayed on. So the coach would yell punt team, and the punter would run on the field.
Well, you do what you have to do.
Yeah. The late, great Jim Spyro, the coach at West Nottingham back in the day.
There's a nice chance. Just she let it get out. That was her mistake. Big mistake there. She let it get away from her.
3:37, and now 3:30 as the clock continues to run.
You got to have a sense of where you are on the field.
Well, nice takeaway by Havre Grace. Chance to get a stick on the ball, unable to do that. It was Sidra Wheeler, number 11, who took the ball away.
There you go. There it is.
Chance.
There it is.
Ball's out front.
Yep, it sure was in front of the goal, and nobody could get their stick on it.
Havre Grace with the hit. That was Swart. Goalie was down momentarily.
Yeah.
Wow.
Out of bounds.
My kingdom for a clear shot, huh?
Yeah.
2 minutes, 45 seconds and counting left in this regulation contest. Remind you, if it does go to overtime, 2 10-minute sudden death overtimes, obviously maximum of 10 minutes. You score, you win. If you don't score within either of those 10 minutes, then you have a sudden death shootout. Well, not sudden death, but you have 5 players on each team.
Right.
Carol, you mentioned again,
Oh,
ball's right there.
that was right there.
That is so tough. You got 5 people whacking at the ball. Aberdeen will get it. You mentioned they do start with 6 players and the goalie on the field, and then they switch in the second overtime, 6 different players.
Right.
Havre Grace takes it away, where the Warriors have put the pressure on.
Yep, they really have. I'm sure their coach would say we should have scored in this last couple of minutes. We should have gotten at least one of those.
That's Swart with the ball momentarily. Swart and DeLeva. 1 minute, 30 seconds left in this contest. Havre Grace looking to try to keep the pressure on. Minute 18 and counting. Minute 8, coming down on the 1 minute mark left in regulation.
Havre Grace got a free hit.
Inside 60 seconds now. Boy, what an event if the Warriors were to score here in the last now 45 seconds. Time running down.
Yep.
40 seconds. It's going to be Aberdeen ball. It looks like, Carol, we're going to go to overtime.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they can get it down the other end of the field with the time they have left. Maybe not.
25 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. I think we're going to have a free hockey here.
Yeah.
9 seconds, 8. One second. And that subtle horn means that the regulation game is over. Wow, 60 minutes and we haven't decided the winner. Again, Carol, you talked about it. This is a game where nobody should lose. Both teams should win. They both played so well. If you're Havre Grace, you come in here, you know, decided underdog.
Yeah. They've got to be pleased with their effort.
Yeah, moral.
I'm sure their coach says, well, we should have had something down there.
We talk about moral victories, and, you know, there are no such things really for coaches. But again, Havre Grace has to be happy and proud that they came to Aberdeen after having lost 6-1 at Havre Grace. 0-6. Haven't beaten Aberdeen except one time in the last more than a decade. And they've given Aberdeen everything it can handle.
Yep, they sure have.
And more. Again, the goals, first half goal by Aberdeen. Gagne with that goal. Layla Gagne, her 5th goal of the year. That was the only scoring in the first half. Then in the second half at 26:09, it was DeLeva, that's Gwen DeLeva, and then her sister, Peyton DeLeva at 19:21. And then with 11 minutes left in the contest, Kate Foy for Aberdeen hit off the fielding a corner kick, or a corner, I should say, what do you call it, just a corner.
Corner hit.
Corner hit, thank you. Just a brilliant play. She stopped it, and then I guess from just inside that red line, she hit it from about, what's that, 16 yards?
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's where we are. No more scoring after the 11-minute mark. So now we go to overtime, and again, Carol, you're more familiar with the rules than I. Go ahead and explain.
Well, they open up the field a lot more because they take 4 attack people, 4 people. Basically, usually, I don't know how they do it now, but usually when it occurred with us, we played 3-2-1-1. 3 on attack, 2 sort of backing them up, playing both ways, and then 1 defender and then your goalie. And then as the game, as it progressed, you tried to see what was available to you. A lot of long ball. I know Phyllis, when I coached with Phyllis, she taught me a lot about field hockey. She's a terrific field hockey coach and strategist, and she would sometimes, depending on who she was playing, she'd put what we called a cherry picker down right in front of the goal because there's no offsides. Used to be offsides. I don't know if there is anymore in field hockey. In other words, you couldn't be ahead of the ball, But she'd put in overtime. There was no offside, so she'd put one of her best stick handlers down right at the top of the circle, and the job of the other 5 girls was to get it to her and let her go one-on-one with the goalie. Usually, that was very effective because the goalie is very restricted in how much movement she can get out of those pads.
Phyllis Hemmers, of course, the great coach at Bel Air for so many years. What, she coached 40 years at Bel Air?
Probably, yeah.
She's now at Dundalk, I believe?
No, Eastern Tech.
Eastern Tech.
Doing a nice job down there.
Yeah. Phyllis Hemmers, the former athletic director at Bel Air. She had some great players back in the day. Those teams in the 1970s.
Really good athletes.
When you had Karen Stout and Shirley Ashburn and Liz Panos.
Yeah.
Just go on and on, the number of outstanding athletes that Phyllis had back in the day. And then, of course, all over the county, Aberdeen had their great athletes as well. It was just, I consider it in my old, looking back, was the golden era of sports in Harford County, high school sports. You had the Bradley brothers, I'm talking about boys now in basketball, and George Noon and Jeff Bullis at Bel Air, and Tyrone Shoulders at Aberdeen. Just on and on, the great players, both boys and girls. What, did Bel Air win 3 straight softball titles back in the 70s?
So. Yeah.
And
Connie had a great softball team.
And Aberdeen with Ellen Ripken playing third base, and Krieger and
Barb Solberg.
Barb Solberg, yeah. It just and Hinch, Carol Hinch.
Good athletes, good ball players.
Just on and on. The
and
great
really good
athletes.
kids too. Really,
oh, yeah.
They kept out of trouble.
Yeah. And most went to college and did well in college. Karen Stout was an All-American at Delaware, and just on and on. The great athletes back in the day.
Yeah.
One thing about being, let's say, experienced. Let's not use the term old, but
right.
You get to reflect on a whole series of progressions of athletics in a particular county like this.
Yeah.
Well, we're having a little lull here between the end of the regulation game and the beginning of overtime. Again, 2 10-minute overtime periods, sudden death. Could be much less than 10 minutes, obviously. The first goal scored is the winner. Carol, what do you think about the shootout afterwards where you have one goalie, one player? Is it good, bad? Is that a good way to decide a game?
I guess it is, because when you get to tournament play, you need a winner. So you have to figure out some way to do that. It's not probably the best, but I don't guess, and I know that, the different rules committees and so forth have looked at it probably over the years, and I don't know that there's a better way. Same thing with soccer.
In the old days, again, going way back, soccer had what they call almost like wrestling and riding time, where if you were on the offensive zone,
Yeah.
then they decided it by corner kicks. The team that had the most corner kicks was believed to be the dominant team in that game. So they decided it not on, like artificial penalty
we
kicks.
had that for a while
Yeah.
in field hockey, which was what they call time of possession.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is you have to put that stopwatch in the hands of a kid
Yeah.
because you don't have
Yeah.
enough officials, don't have the money to pay another official.
Uh-huh.
Actually, two, one on one end and one on the other.
Well, corner kicks to me seems to be because it shows dominance, I think. And if
Yeah.
a team has 10 corner kicks and you had 2,
You know where the ball was.
yeah.
You know where the ball was mostly. Yeah. I think that's probably the other maybe decent alternative.
and it would be easy both in soccer and in field hockey to count the number of corners you have in field hockey or corner
Although
kicks in
probably
soccer.
my most favorite memory and my biggest win as a JV hockey coach at Bel Air revolved around one of my gals whose mother I had coached at Edgewood. We defeated Falls and she made the no, I guess it wasn't a penalty. It was a penalty stroke right at the end of the ball game. It wasn't a shootout. It was a penalty stroke at the end of the ball game.
Not that you remember that. Well, here
No.
comes the overtime now. Remember, it is sudden death, so the first time the ball goes in the net, in the goal,
In the goal,
the game is over.
Yep.
You talk about pressure.
Yeah. That's why you want to have one good defender back there with your goalie.
I
And they
almost,
have to work together.
I almost would prefer a full 10-minute period, rather than sudden death.
I bet the boys in the truck don't agree with you.
Oh, they love it.
Am I right, guys?
Yeah. They get paid extra. Did you know that for overtime games?
Oh, really?
No.
I had a feeling you were fibbing on me.
I think they, like us, are just so happy to see a very competitive game. Again,
Looks
between
like-
two arch rivals, what better TV game could you have?
Yeah. It's like
Here's
Mr.
Aberdeen. Eagles on the attack. You talk about hearts in your throats in terms of the outcome
See how
of
the
this
game
game.
wide, how it frees up, 'cause you can have a lot more long hits and
What's it, 5 players and a goalie?
6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're right. 6 and a goalie.
3, 2, 1, 1. It's usually what you line up as. Looks like Mr. Zimmerman's granddaughter is in the game somewhere. I can't find her right now, but I don't see her on the bench.
Peyton
so-
Zimmerman, number 4 for Havre Grace.
Yeah. Oh, nice tackle. And reach for it, reach for it, reach for it. Ah.
Out the play it goes. They're gonna. Coach Andriano says it's clearly our ball.
Yeah, sure. Can't you see that, right?
Now the official comes up and says, "Timeout. We're going to talk this over."
Uh-oh.
Official comes, picks up the ball. I believe that's Michelle Branch. I think Emily Frank, the other.
Oh, going to do something we haven't done in a long time. Used to start the game this way.
They call it the bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Now they flip a coin and they start the game. Dangerous play, don't you think?
Yeah, well, they don't coach it very often, I'm sure, anymore. You used to do it all the time.
They have to
Yeah,
touch their
see her-
sticks a couple times.
They had to put her foot. She's got to have her feet. They've got to have their feet parallel.
Havre Grace comes away with the ball.
Don't see that very often.
Yeah, the official just couldn't say. I can't say who
Yeah,
hit
that's
the ball.
that's the fair way to do it.
Here comes Aberdeen now. Open field.
Oh, that's foot. That's feet. Bounced right off her ankle.
Yep. Havre Grace will take over. Remember, they put out, was it strike 1? How many strikes do you get?
Not very many.
Oh. Aberdeen takes it away.
Yes. She needs to.
Now you say they have to put out 6 different players
Yes.
in the second overtime.
Yeah. So you're you got to make judicious decisions there too.
Aberdeen with the ball, a chance. Wow.
Corners. Of course, there's not as many people on the field. I think it's 3 and 5. I'm not sure. 3 back.
That was Sophia Dow, by the way, number 12 for Aberdeen, that had a chance but couldn't get her stick on the ball.
That Havre girl's got to get back on the goal line.
So yeah, they're going to have, what, 2 girls back on the goal line, or actually 3, and the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
This does
And
put a lot of open space.
Yeah, and they could bring every one of their Aberdeen players could come up. Here's the free shot.
Here's the shot.
That's how she scored the last one.
Wow.
The second one.
I think that was Kate Foy again, the young lady who scored that
she
goal.
was cranking it.
If you're the defender, you say, you know, I got to stay between her and the goal.
Yep.
Yet everything in your body says, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
This ball hurts.
Yes, it does.
Get out of the way.
Like a baseball.
Yeah, except baseball has a little give in it. I don't know what they make the hockey balls out of, but
I think it's solid wood. But
it feels like lead. Here comes Aberdeen again. Foy, shot.
Going out.
Say Foy, I think that's number 6. Yeah, that's Kate Foy. Kate, her 3rd year. 2 goals and assist. Had her 3rd goal today. Yeah, that's Emily Frank, the official there. Here comes Havre Grace now. Peyton DeLeva. The 2 DeLeva sisters, the 2 goals
Aberdeen
for Havre
free hit.
Grace. Inside the 50. Aberdeen, you can dribble it how far, Carol?
I think you can take it all the way if you want.
Okay.
That's a new rule since I stopped coaching. Usually had to hit it, but again, it speeds up the play. Usually end up sometimes what I call playing ping pong. You know, I hit it, you hit it back to me, I hit it back to you. It's you know, used to drive coaches crazy. At least it did me.
So
This way-
that's what drove you crazy.
That's what it was.
Oh.
This allows for a little bit more deceptiveness and more stick work.
Give you the time, 5 minutes exactly left in this first overtime period.
And nobody's really come close except that one shot down here.
Yeah, just couldn't get the shot off. Remind you about the heat today, and these players have now played a full game and now into a 10-minute extra period.
Yeah. We'll find out who's been running their laps and who hasn't. Nice. Nice.
4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Oh, that's a shame. She had her girl open up there at the top of the key.
Aberdeen now down the left side, driving Carol mad because we need to come down the right side. Then you showed it there, Carol. She tried to turn that stick around.
Yep.
Good clear by Havre Grace. Well, that was a nice play.
Yep.
Picked it up and sort of dribbled it. That was Foy again.
That's allowed. That's allowed now.
Taking away a good play there by Bridget Trey-Montana, whose dad, Dave, teaches at Aberdeen. I mean, at Havre Grace, excuse me. Music teacher there.
Mm-hmm. Great job with the music program, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness,
He
yeah,
and
he's the
and
vocal.
Mr. Huff, yeah.
Just wonderful. And again, a small school. Whistle blows. 3 minutes, 14 seconds left in this first overtime. 2-2 is the score. It was 1-0 Aberdeen at the half. Havre Grace scored 2 goals to go up 2-1 in the second half, and Katie Foy equalized it at 11 minutes left, and that's where we are at 2-2. Aberdeen 3-4, Havre de Grace 0-6. Warriors looking for their first win of the year, and my goodness, that was a mishit.
Mm-hmm. And she's lucky that girl didn't get by her.
Carol, we talked about 50 years ago, and can you imagine if you're Havre de Grace players and you come onto the Aberdeen field on TV and are able to win your first game of the year?
Yeah.
That's what legends are made of.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it would be quite a feather in their cap.
On the other hand, Aberdeen, here's Havre de Grace on the attack. Goalie Gwyneth Steele comes out and puts a boot onto it.
Yep.
Corner coming up. Nope. It's going to be a free hit for Aberdeen. 2 minutes left in this first overtime period. Good clear by Aberdeen. Eagles looking to try to get the ball up into scoring area.
See, in the old days, that Aberdeen girl would be offside, but there's no such thing in the short field. I mean, in the reduced player.
Out of play it goes.
She was definitely ahead of the ball.
Sheann Taylor, 13, was the young lady, senior with the ball a moment ago. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Minute 20 seconds left here in this first overtime.
Havre de Grace needs to crank on it. Just send it straight to the goal and hope for a rebound.
Battling in midfield. Ball goes to Aberdeen. Sophia Dow, number 12 for Aberdeen. Inside a minute at 50 seconds, it looks like for all the world we're going to go to a second overtime.
Nice hit. There it is. There's a chance.
The goalie does not come out, and that
Nope.
could have been a little bit of inexperience. Well, good job by
Nice
Havre
save.
Grace.
Got to put it right back in. Got to put it right back in.
30 seconds. Corner coming up.
I see Aberdeen's not using their time wisely. They're just walking.
Zara Saki, I think the goalie for Havre de Grace, as she gets more experience, she would have come out, I think, and booted that ball out of there.
Yeah.
Instead, she laid back and let Aberdeen put together.
Yes.
Clock running
I
at 5
don't-
seconds,
I
4
don't
seconds. I
understand
don't
why-
think they're going to get a shot off.
No. I don't understand what she was thinking about, really.
I don't either.
That-
She had the opportunity.
She wasn't watching the clock as much as she probably should have been.
And I'm sure the coaches on the sidelines were yelling, but they're full 60 yards away, so maybe they couldn't hear. So now we switch.
I think they switch ends, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
what are they
not
going?
sure.
Carol, what are they doing here? Are they going to continue the play? Yeah,
I'm
so
not sure.
I'm not aware that. Maybe that's why she wasn't in a hurry, because it just carries over to the second overtime. They don't start again from midfield. Aha.
Well, there's no time on the clock.
I have learned something. Clock shows. I guess, do they continue this play until Foy with the shot? Oh my goodness.
She
Wow.
just missed.
So that's what the rule is. They continue that play even though time had run out. I have never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
The clock said
And it was
0-0.
and it was their fault because they got the ball with 16 seconds left.
But I guess they realized that they could complete that play even though time had run out.
Beats me, Charlie. It's a new one.
Oh.
Hadn't seen that happen.
See, no
very
matter how
often.
old you get, myself, you learn something.
Yep. Me too.
But then my problem is I immediately forget it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
You know, that's the bad part. You've been around so long, they say to me, you know everybody. Well, I knew them at one time. Now, I have no clue who they are. You know that, Carol, as a teacher, your kids come up to you, they're now grandparents, and they say, remember, Ms. Barker, back in, you know, you were in my class, I was in your class, and you try to fake it like, yeah, I remember you. I have no clue.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. But you know, you usually can,
You were the one that.
yeah, if they give you a clue, if they say, remember back in 1972 where you, oh yeah. I think there's
It's
nothing.
fun. It's neat to be. It's neat for the kids to see how your kids have turned out.
Nothing better for a teacher than to be remembered fondly, like you made a difference in my life, and
Yeah.
nothing better for a student to have a teacher remember that student. Oh yeah. Our good friend Chuck Marsden is that way, Carol, where he just never forgets a kid. He knows every kid he ever had in class, and knows who they were, who their sister was.
That's great.
It's just wonderful. Well, we have a lull here as we wait for the second 10-minute sudden death overtime period. We are tied at 2, 1-0 Aberdeen at the half, 2-1 Havre de Grace late in that second half, or midway of the second half, and Katie Foy scored the tying goal, made it 2-2. The Leyva twins scored for Havre de Grace their 2 goals. First goal of the game was scored by Layla Gagne. That back in the first period. It seemed like a year ago, back at 16:30 of that first period.
Yeah.
Well, what a game! I just have to say I really wouldn't want to see either team lose at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be such a bitter pill. But Carol, them's the breaks, right?
Yeah.
In life, there are winners and losers, and
Somebody's got to lose and somebody's got to win, because I mean, at JV level, we could leave it tied because it didn't matter. But at varsity level, with the tournaments and seeding and so forth, you got to find a winner.
they talk about it being like kissing your sister.
Yeah.
For me, that wouldn't be bad, but Janice would be a little reluctant. My older sister. Oh, I shouldn't. My younger sister, excuse me.
Yeah, you better be careful.
Hope you're enjoying this contest. Carol Barker, Don Morrison, happy to be at Aberdeen High School, our 25th year on air, and happy to say that for the first time in the history of Hartford Cable Network, this game right now is being live streamed.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
if you're watching this live, hi. If you're not, then
Glad to have you with us.
this game ended 3 days ago. It's hard. If you're watching this game live and you would like to see it again, it'll be aired on HCN channels 7, 21, and 31. That's Armstrong, Comcast, and Verizon. This Saturday, October 6th, beginning at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. You can get a DVD copy. Just log on to www.hartfordcable.org. Or you can watch it on demand, Carol. https://hcn.viebit.com. Got that?
Did you, would you repeat that again, please?
Oh, here, take a copy of this. I got it for you. Gee.
Okay.
All
let's
right,
see
here we
what
go.
Come up with a winner here. Looks like Aberdeen's going to put the ball in play.
And they have switched sides. Havre de Grace going from right to left, Aberdeen left to right.
Nice dodge, nice move. Got it down the right side of the field where she should be.
That's right where
That's where I want it to be.
Carol Barker wants it. It looks like it's Foy.
Very nice, very nice.
Good center. Ball
There it
is there.
Oh boy, that
A
ball
chance.
went across the goal.
Oh,
Can't
Havre
do
de
better
Grace,
than that.
Havre de Grace dodged a bullet that time.
Can't do better than that. She took it all the way down and did her job. That's all you can ask.
6 different players on the field than were in the first overtime. We never determined. You can keep the same goalie.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's so. Because a lot of teams only have one goalie.
Mm-hmm. Well, for Havre de Grace, they barely have 12 players, so
Right.
coming up with 6 different ones could be a problem. Try to give you Havre de Grace. Looks like Gwen DeLeva, number 5, is in the game.
Somebody's coming out.
And this is a card, I believe. They have different cards.
Yeah.
They go from a green card, a player sits out 2 minutes, a yellow card 5 minutes, and a red card, she's out for the game.
That could be big for Aberdeen.
Now, who got sent off?
Losing that extra player.
So it's 5 against 6 here,
That's Tiana Harris.
who's off the field.
It's off the field.
So
Not
Havre
sure,
Grace
not sure
has
what she did, but she did something.
if it's a green card, which it probably is, it's a 2-minute penalty.
Right, here we go again. Nice job. Yep, there you go. That's what you do. Get it down there in that end of the field.
Not happy though. The player for Aberdeen. I think she hit it somewhere where she didn't want to hit the ball. Number 5, Layla Gagne. Keep you abreast of the time. 8 minutes now left in the second overtime. 2-2 at the end of the game, 2-2 after the first overtime.
Havre Grace gets a free play, free
Nope,
hit.
the Warriors, Carroll had scored only 3 goals all year coming in 6 games. They've scored 2 here today.
That's improvement. That's what you got to look at when you're coaching a young team.
A 3rd goal would, of course, make them a winner for the first time this year.
They're down where they can do it.
Ball is loose.
Free hit coming out.
Penalty against Havre Grace. Nice switch of the field. Taken away, though, by Havre Grace. It looks like to Marchio. So Tamarkio, the stopper, is in the game here for Havre Grace in this second overtime.
Right.
Ball's open
Oh, there it is.
against Havre Grace.
Ah.
So difficult to keep, to
Here
not
she
have
comes
your
back
body
in.
get between the ball and your opponent.
Yeah, Harris reporting back in.
So her 2 minutes are over, so it was a green card. So we're back even at 6-on-6 plus a goalie.
Right.
Havre Grace with the interception. Ball is loose. Oh, good job by Steele coming out and making
Yeah,
the
that was
save.
a nice play. She
Winnie
was the only
Steele.
one that could save that one.
She's the senior. Remember we talked about how the goalie for Havre Grace didn't come out. That's a Kaya.
Yeah.
This time
She'll
Steele.
learn. She'll learn.
She came out, and you're right, Carol. Had she not come out, I'm not sure that there was any defense that would have stopped Havre Grace. Coming up on the 5:30 mark left in this second overtime. Talk about a 120-yard field now with only 6 players. It becomes even more difficult, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
After you've played a total of, what, 60, 70 minutes now.
Nice drive. Nice play by the Havre Grace girl to intercept that.
To Marchio.
Yeah, she's their starting backfield.
Yeah. Winding up and missing the shot.
Yeah, I think that was a tired hit.
You're right, Peyton DeLeva. It looked like the mind was willing, the body said, no, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah. Very definitely looked like a tired stroke.
That's Sister Gwen DeLeva. Taken away by Aberdeen. Kate Foy, I believe, number 6.
Yeah, she's got a nice stick work.
What a hit. Aberdeen with the ball. 4:40 left. To Marchio, nice play by her.
Yeah, she's made a nice save there. Another nice play.
The senior with all the experience, trying to lead her team. Looks like Micah Jacobs there with the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's another tired swing.
Yeah, you can see it. She wants to run, but her body won't let her at this point. Is that Tamarkio again? Nope, it's
no.
number 10. That's Elena Nye.
Okay.
Ball, Aberdeen has a great defensive play. Who was that came through and stole the ball? Looks like it's Peyton DeLeva. No? No, it's Bailey Swart, number 8.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant play. She came out
Yes.
of nowhere.
Yep, she sure did. She saved him, I think.
I agree. Obstruction against Aberdeen.
Yep.
Good quick play. She didn't wait for him to set up.
No.
Clock running. We have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second overtime. And then we go to, what do they call it, penalty shots? We'll explain that if we get that far. Well, Carol, again, we were hoping to see a very competitive contest. Not only has it been competitive, but we've seen some good play out there as well.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. I'm impressed with both teams. I think they've done, you know, they can only get better. They're young. And by the end of the season, you know, they'll have a lot more experience under their belt.
Clock winding down. We're at 2:30 now left in this second overtime.
There's a nice pass forward. Get your stick on it. There you go.
DeLeva. Oh, nice interception by Aberdeen. That looked like
They were
Tiana
about
Harris.
Havre was about a half a step behind on that.
Yep, Harris made the big save.
That looked like trouble for Aberdeen.
No, it's going to be Havre de Grace ball.
Nice
Bridget
hit.
Trey Montana. Harris with the save there with the defensive play. Nope, it's going to go against Havre de Grace.
140 left in the game.
Counting left in the second overtime. You just tuned in. Where you been? My goodness, you've missed a great game. Should always set your clocks, Carol, to know when HCN's coming on with the high school game of the week.
Look
Here
out.
comes Aberdeen now, one-on-one with the goalie. Hits the side of the net.
One minute.
I think that was Foy, and you can see
Yeah.
how tired she is, that willing herself to run. Stopped by Havre de Grace. Here come the Warriors inside a minute.
And you gotta beat her to the ball.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice defensive play.
Nice play by number 13, was
23.
it? 23.
Caitlin Hall
Caitlin, yeah.
for Aberdeen. To Marchio. And that was number 13.
30 seconds.
That's Sheehan Taylor. Coming up with inside 30 seconds left in this contest.
Okay, got a corner.
Got a corner now. If with 20 seconds on the clock running, if we learn something in the first half, they can take their time and play out this corner. Because the clock is running down inside 10 seconds. 5 seconds. 1 second. Now they don't blow the horn because this play will continue. And now it goes out of play, and that will end this contest.
Wow.
2-2 after 2 overtimes. Goodness gracious. Okay.
Now I don't know. I guess I don't know if they flip a coin or if the visitor has choice.
I'm not sure.
They'll choose a end of the field. One team will have the option.
Each team selects 5 players. Alternating will have 10 seconds to go against the goalie starting at the 25-yard line.
Right.
So each team will select 5 players. So each of those 5 goes at the goalie from the 25-yard line with 10 seconds to get there and shoot the ball.
Right.
And then you count up the number of penalty strokes or penalty shots that score, and the winner is the one who gets the most. What if you each in
Said
with
it
2?
perfectly.
Really? That would be a first. So what if they each win with 2? Then we have a tie game.
No, you go through a second round,
Really?
and you have to use 5 different players.
Huh.
So that's again, coaching strategy. Do I go with my top 5 players in the first round? And if we don't win it with that, now I'm stuck with sort of my lesser experienced players the second round.
I think I'm going with my best first. I'm going to win it right now.
Yeah, I think I would too. If you have to go to your second string, basically, although they're probably starters, but they're just not as experienced. But you go with your seniors and juniors and say, okay, kids, on your stick.
Referees, I think, are looking up the rules. I'm just kidding. But they're opening their duffel bags. And
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's the way it used to be. I don't know. I didn't look up. I looked up some of the rule changes, but overtime strokes wasn't on the list, so I assume it's still the same.
You can see a picture on the screen that the referees are consulting a little green card. The magic green card, which perhaps gives them the, I'm sure they know, they're veteran referees, but they're probably just consulting there. And getting a drink at the same time. Why not? Well, we do hope you've enjoyed
yeah,
this.
they've been
This
running
has been,
110 yards too.
yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful contest. Great weather. I want to thank Tim Lindekamp, the athletic director here at Aberdeen. Always makes us feel very at home and comfortable. Coach Nicole Andriano. She's in the mathematics department, by the way, head varsity field hockey coach, assistant varsity girls lacrosse coach, and varsity club co-advisor.
Wow.
Sounds like Carol Barker to me.
Yeah,
doing
probably
everything.
In my A-Day, maybe it was.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Nicole's been doing this now for 8 years as a head coach. Last year, 9-2-1, winning the Susquehanna title, sweeping all the Susquehanna teams. She's also, Carol, been coaching a club team for 2 years, and again, without a rec program to build the basis of new players coming in, she's going out and recruiting players by doing this winter club program as well. So here she teaches mathematics full-time. She coaches 2 sports. She's a co-advisor of the varsity club, and she now coaches club field hockey.
It keeps her
My
out of-
question is, what does she do with her spare time?
Yeah, me too.
2-2, as you see. We were 1-0 Aberdeen after 1 half. Havre de Grace scored 2 goals. The DeLeva twins, Gwynn first and then Peyton second. And then with 11 minutes to go on a beautifully played corner, Kate Foy tied it for Aberdeen at 2, and that is where we are. Having played 60 minutes of regulation time and now 10 minutes, that would be Carol Quicknell, 60 plus 10 plus 80 minutes.
80.
Math, never my strong suit. I do okay as long as it's like multiples of 20 that I can use fingers and toes. Beyond that, I was helping my granddaughter with her math the other day, and now they have some weird thing going. It's called tens or something. Everything has to be done by tens. So 13 minus 8 is not 5. It's 13 minus 3 to get to 10, add 2 to make it 5. I think. I gave up. I said,
Yeah.
ask your mother.
That's right.
Yeah. Luckily, my other granddaughter is a history buff, so I get to talk history with her. She aspires to be a teacher, my 11-year-old.
All right.
Yeah. My 9-year-old aspires to be a artist.
Oh, okay.
Both worthwhile. We're wasting time here talking about grandkids.
Yeah.
That's never a waste of time, is it?
Well, not if you got them.
Yeah. I could show you pictures if you like.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have some photos.
I am sure. I know. I've seen them. You've got plenty.
Remember the old days, you used to have those accordion wallets where you could
Yeah.
just, now you've got
Here.
Yeah, you've got a iPhone or whatever, you can show them that way.
Oh, I got so many pictures on my iPhone from the trip we took recently.
3
I
weeks
gotta clean it out.
to the Great American West.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Train. You went by train, plane. No, not plane.
No planes.
Train.
Cars, auto and train.
Train and auto.
And then we did a little bit of everything else. We rode a tram through the Great Redwoods. That was wonderful. What a treat that was.
Okay, we're gonna take a break here. Or that the booth says that we gotta. They're getting tired of our stories, I think.
Come on.
We'll come down and we'll come right back with you. We'll continue about telling you the stories of the Great Redwoods by Carol Barker. Don't go away. 2-2 is our score. We're going to shootout. We'll be right back. All right, we're with you. As you may have just seen, the first goal scored by Havre Grace. We're in the shootout. That was by number 8, Bailey Swart. So Swart gets the goal. Havre Grace now is ahead. Remember, 5 shots here. Now Aberdeen gets their turn. It looks like, is that number 8, Foy? Actually, number 9. And the goal for Aberdeen. That was Josiah Fulp, number 9. Jessia, and if it's Jessia, I'm saying Josiah Fulp. She scores now, so now we're at 1-1.
Number 12 for Havre Grace, Micah Jacobs.
Micah Jacobs now for Havre Grace. Remember, we have 5 shots. You have 25 seconds to shoot the ball. Goalie, great job coming out and making the save. No, the ball was still alive and the goalie scored. Wow, it looked like Steele had come out and made the save, but staying right with it is Jacobs, and she scores. So now Jacobs scores for Havre Grace. We're at 2-1, Havre Grace leading.
Who's this coming out?
17 for, that is number, that's the Aviana Braden.
Braden, yeah, Aviana Braden.
Remember the rookie goalie. And the goalie is going to make the save. The goalie we're talking about is the rookie goalie, Zara Esakai, I'm sorry, Zara Esakai with the save, and now it is 2-1. Havre Grace leads with a chance to go up 3-1. So the Aberdeen second attempt was no good. Remember, 5 shots each team. The stop. Steele makes the stop, out of play, and now we are back even again as Aberdeen has a chance to even this at 2-2. Good job by Steele. Aberdeen sending out number 13, and that is Sheann Taylor. Sheann, a senior, has 5 goals on the year, 2 assists. And the goal. So Taylor with the goal. Yeah, number 13, Sheann Taylor with the goal for Aberdeen. So we're now tied at 2-2. Yep, for Havre Grace, and that is Bailey Swart.
Yeah.
Steele, the goalie. Great stop by Steele. Ball is still alive. It's going out of play, and it is no good. So that was Havre Grace's 4th attempt. They've missed 2, scored 2. Aberdeen now, it's 2-2 is the score here in the overtime. And now this could be the winner. Is that number 6 or 8? The way she's got her, I think that's...
It's 6.
Is it 6? If so, that's Tiffy Morgan. I should say Morgan Tiffy is her, is her name. She's a midfielder. This could be the game right here. And it's good. Morgan gets the goal for Aberdeen. This is the 5th one. Havre de Grace needs this one to go in to tie and force Aberdeen to make its attempt. And this is Peyton Zimmerman. Number 4, Peyton Zimmerman.
Granddad next door to us.
Zimmerman. Goal! Zimmerman. And so now it's all up to Aberdeen's number 23, Caitlin Hall. Goals by Swart, Jacobs, and Zimmerman.
Senior got the ball game on her stick.
Taking her time. And it's good. That goal goes in. And according to my count, Caitlin Hall's goal will give Aberdeen 1, 2, 3. That's what the officials call it. And yes, they say Aberdeen is going to win in overtime penalty shots. Wow.
Yep.
What a contest. The winning goal scored by Hall of Aberdeen. Mackenzie Hall? No, Caitlin Hall.
Caitlin.
Yeah, Mackenzie is maybe her sister on the team, I'm not sure. So Caitlin Hall scores for Aberdeen.
Hey Joe.
Fulp with the score. And Taylor with the score, Morgan with the score, and now Caitlin Hall. For Havre de Grace, they had 3. It was Swart, Jacobs, and Zimmerman. So in overtime penalty shots, 4-3 in that penalty shot scenario. Aberdeen wins it. They go to 4-4. Havre de Grace in a terribly tough loss. Carroll losing in overtime penalty shots.
That's tough.
4-3.
That's a tough loss to take. But again, they're young. They've got to build on it. They've got to say, okay, here's what we did right. Here's what we need to work on. And hopefully the coaches will do that.
Well,
Sounds like the coach is very interested in bringing Havre de Grace a good program.
Well, that is our final here, 2-2 at the regulation time, and the winner is Aberdeen, winning their 4th game. They're 4-4. Meantime, Havre de Grace drops to 0-7, losing it in overtime penalty shots by a final of 4-3 in that overtime penalty shots after it was tied at 2-2. Hope you've enjoyed this contest. It has been a pleasure to bring it to you. Aberdeen here winning it by the final overtime penalty shot course. Again, Carroll Barker winning their 4th game of the year. They're 4-4, defeating their arch rivals, the Havre de Grace Warriors. Any final thoughts?
Well, just congratulations to Aberdeen. They toughed it out, and looked like Havre de Grace was gonna sneak one away from them, and they came back and showed their moxie, stayed with it, and eventually won in the shootout.
Well, we're out of time. We hope you have enjoyed the contest. Don Morrison along with Carroll Barker. Again, our final score from Aberdeen, 4-3 in overtime penalty shots. Aberdeen wins it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned every week as we have our game of the week for you. Again, good night, everyone. Enjoy.